Coming up this week, off screen.
Leon Vitali is a film worker.
We witness A Cambodian Spring.
Fulfillment's the goal in Jeune Femme.
And Deadpool comes again with Deadpool 2.
All of us coming more off screen.
This is Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Off Screen. I'm Van Connor.
I am Case Allen.
Hello, Mr. Allen.
Hello.
So we've had a week
We've
off.
been off for a bit.
We've had a week off.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy it? Did you get to do anything?
Yeah, I had some fried halloumi
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean,
with some
that's,
sweet chili sauce.
that is a week well spent.
I did it for a solid, how many hours a whole week is?
It's not a coincidence we took a week off right when Aldi started selling the halloumi fries. That's all I'm saying.
Have they already started?
As far as I know.
Oh.
I think there's different varieties.
Then my halloumi week continues.
That's why you tune into a film show to hear
halloumi
about
format.
our halloumi recommendations.
Well, we're not talking about films yet. This is just the halloumi weeklies.
This is preamble. This is all halloumi preamble. This is the cheese course.
Let's start like a cheese podcast called Halloumi.
Ooh, that is good.
Are there any podcasts dedicated to cheese?
I don't know.
I got a lot of
There's
cheese
got to
jokes.
be.
I got so many cheese jokes.
I was off last week actually producing a show.
Was it about cheese?
I was producing a pilot for a show.
Oh.
So it was politics. It was all politics. And I met people
Less
from
fun.
the Labour Party and I met people from the Conservative Party and we discussed Brexit.
You bipartisan so-and-so are you?
Yeah, do you know, actually, I used to be a Tory. I was a very dyed-in-the-wool Tory, and it's only in the sort of the
Were you?
last...
And I've let you into my house.
But, I mean, you never knew me way back when. I was very much Rick Mayall in The New Statesman, and in every sense, except for the great surname. And then, obviously, the last 10 years, I've become more liberal, more lefty. But I'm more of a centrist, actually. Anyway, so politics aside, we've got stuff this week. We've got films. Not many films. There's
Yeah, to be fair.
There's a shortage of films.
Pretty sure, but there's some good films.
How weird is this? There are more films being released opposite Solo than there are opposite Deadpool 2.
What a weird time to be alive.
Yeah. The Ron Howard Star Wars movie has 7 films being released against it. This had like 4. So, yeah. So we're more scared of Ryan Reynolds than Ron Howard in the film industry now.
You've seen Da Vinci Code, yeah? You've seen Angels and Demons. You've seen, what's it one? Inferno.
Oh, God.
What was a line from Inferno?
It's not my finest work, but it'll do for the Italians.
That sums it up.
That's brilliant. That is the best line in that film. And the fact that it comes from, I can't remember, who's the actor? Irfan Khan?
Irfan Khan.
Irfan Khan. Yeah. The fact that it comes from Irfan Khan is just the greatest thing in that movie because he's just cool AF.
I
He's
love
cool
him.
AF. He's cool AF. That's it. So, before we get to news, before we get to reviews, before we get to box office top 5, and we're going to have some fun with that this week because there's some doozies of tweets out there. Like no good tweets, they're all just doozies.
All doozies. Well, we've had a couple of those. We had that tweet a couple of weeks ago that wasn't for or against. He just told us the plot of the film.
Oh, wasn't that the one? Rampage is based on a computer game from 1986.
Yeah.
You're like, thanks for tweeting us.
4 stars.
I think it was last week when we were off, by the way. I still had to do written reviews of films. And every film I reviewed last week was a 3-star film. It was an absolutely 3-star week.
Just average. Just average week.
2 of those films are now in the box office top 5.
What was it? So what are those? Was that I Feel Pretty? Maybe.
I Feel Pretty. That was one.
Life of the Party.
Life of the Party. Sherlock Gnomes. Was
Sherlock
another.
Gnomes.
Yeah.
So we'll have kind of like short reviews for those. In the
I think
top 5?
we'll have short reviews because we've got an excess of time this week. So before we get to all that, then, right, we need some news. What do you got for me? Give me something big to kick us off. Something suitably large.
This is biggish.
Is it biggish?
Biggish.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna blow it all to begin with. I'm gonna work up to it.
Okay, fair enough.
So this is my starter.
This is a cheese course.
This is the cheese course.
Does the cheese course come first or later?
Fried halloumi, the film, will be coming.
Sequel to Sausage Party.
Oh yes, naturally. Zombieland 2 is going to happen apparently.
Why?
Why? Because it made a decent amount of change.
Yeah, it made a decent amount of change 9 years ago.
Yeah.
9 years. And do
Nostalgia.
You know, in
Even
that
if
time,
it's 9-year-old nostalgia.
Well, exactly. Why don't you wait 15 years and actually make it properly nostalgic?
Because Jesse Eisenberg will actually be bald like Lex Luthor then.
Probably.
We need that curly hair.
Yeah, but after Lex Luthor, I never want to see Jesse Eisenberg again.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I want the sequel to Social Network when things have got even worse.
When they call him before Congress?
Yeah, that's what I want.
They call him before the Senate hearings.
Oh, you could have it like a play. Do you know, like when we did that?
Oh, the Michael Sheen, Tony Blair plays kind of thing.
Yes, or I was going to go with Helen Mirren.
Yes, yeah.
What was it called? Well, it's the Queen first.
It was the Queen, then there was the one where she...
The Audience.
That's it.
Yeah, but she's the Queen again, but on stage.
That's the Queen 2, isn't it, really? But
Queen Harder.
Yeah, Queen 2, Queen Hard. I absolutely love that. I think 2 Queen, 2 Royal, something like that. I don't know.
Maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Royal Wedding. Have you heard about that? People are getting married.
Have I heard about the Royal Wedding? Do you know how I've heard about the Royal Wedding? Because on Monday afternoon, or actually it might be yesterday afternoon, I received a push notification to my beloved trusty smartwatch, and I'm not name branding. They don't sponsor us. It's fine. And
but it rhymes with Maple.
It rhymes with Maple, according to The Simpsons. Anyway, and it was a push alert from BBC News telling me.
Of course, it was on BBC.
Yeah, from BBC News, and it was using the same system that they used to tell us about terrorist attacks, and it was telling me that Meghan Markle's dad will not be attending her wedding. And after I briefly had to pause and remember just who in the blue hell Meghan Markle was, and then I thought,
shut up. Oh, you have seen Suits.
And then I went, it's the Suits chick.
Yeah.
It's this. Okay, yeah, the Suits chick's getting married, and Royal Wedding. Okay, I get it. Yeah, okay, that's why you're using the terrorist alert system to tell me about her guest list.
It's news. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. This is worse than the time you told me about something with the cricket team. But
I am stupidly going to London this weekend, but not for that purpose.
Really?
Yeah.
What day are you going? I'm going on Sunday. When are you going?
Also Sunday.
I've not booked yet. We should collaborate.
We can. Well. Yeah. Let's talk about this off air.
Off air.
I've forgotten where you've gone the podcast. Everyone can listen to our plans. And
exactly. Sorry. So yeah, Sunday we'll make plans.
Yes.
So Zombieland 2, go on.
Yes, they're looking at a 2019 release date with all of the original cast. So they've started to write it now.
Okay. Is it Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick again?
Yes, the guys have brought us Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
And Life.
And Life. Yeah.
Let's never forget that exists.
Yeah, when you want to watch Alien, but not
when you want to watch Alien, but you think I'd rather have the GoBots version.
Exactly.
You go with Life. Yeah.
Maybe Ryan Reynolds will turn up in Zombieland too because he. Yeah, they're pretty big fans.
I have issues with this. First of all, I don't think it'll ever happen. Secondly, good luck getting Oscar winner. Yeah, good luck getting Oscar winner Emma Stone back, and Oscar nominee Woody Harrelson back.
Whoa! 3 times Oscar nominee.
Woody Harrelson.
Do you know what? That entire main cast will be nominated for an Oscar.
What, including the Little Miss Sunshine girl?
Nominated for Little Miss Sunshine.
What's her name again? I forget. Abigail Breslin.
I always want to say Abigail Spencer. That's completely different.
Abigail Spencer is the lead from Timeless.
Yes. Yeah.
And Suits.
And
she's in Suits.
Yes. Is she going to the wedding? Is she going to the royal wedding?
Well, all I know is Gabriel Macht is not going, so that means the coolest person who could be going isn't going. Boom.
Is he going to be in whatever film we'll talk about? Zombieland
2. Anyway,
we've been off for a week.
We have.
We've gone off a reservation. Give me a review.
I'll give you a review. Podcast. By the way, plug first. Extended edition, more rambling from us. Moment of Cage, lots of fun. iTunes, Deezer, Acast. Tune in, pick your podcast platform preference. All on there. More stuff, more fun, more Cage. Anyway, so that sort of phoned in, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, A Cambodian Spring, which I cannot phone in because it's a very moving and emotional documentary. I wasn't in the room, but I'm told it reduced one of my favourite critics to absolute tears. This is a documentary, apparently a 9-year-long labour of love. This has filmed, there's 6 years worth of filming in this, from writer-director Christopher Kelly. This is the story of what has led to, effectively, the Cambodian Spring. This is the idea of the democratically elected government that's been running Cambodia for the last decade or so, having basically decided to portion off land and sell it to corporations and developers and things like that, and taking it away from the people whose land it rightfully is. And we follow those people. We follow 3 distinct people, but we focus on, I'm trying to remember his name. His name is, I think, the Venerable Tep Varney. I think Tep Varney. He is a monk. And he is governed by two forces. He is governed by the outside world, by the Cambodian, police and Cambodian law, but he's also governed by his own religious law. His religious law prohibits him from getting involved in the affairs of those who are protesting to save their home.
Okay.
And he can't stand idly by and watch this happen. He keeps trying to find a loophole and a way that he can insert himself, knowing full well that any wrong step can see him expelled from the order that he's devoted his life to. And yeah, it's absolutely harrowing. There are scenes in this in which you are watching scores of people, crowds of people, made to stand there in tears, jaws on the floor as their homes and lives are just knocked to the ground by enormous bulldozers whilst armed police point machine guns at them. It's devastating. It's a very hard watch. There are times in which you get angry, and there are times you just feel emotionally devastated. There are times you feel righteous indignation, and it runs you through the full gamut. It's genuinely terrific. Obviously, it's a 9-year-long labour of love. You feel it. You do feel there is a serious investment in the material being put before you. And yeah, I was really captivated. I was really drawn into this, and it filled me with emotion. It filled me with rage. It filled me with sadness. And yeah, I think if I'd been in that press screening on Monday morning, I'd have been in tears as well. But I wanted to get a later train. So,
you monster!
I know.
You're basically Jimmy Carter.
I basically am history's greatest monster.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So it's been how many years since Deadpool? 2. Okay, so this isn't a rushed release at all. 2 years, that's about right for a sequel nowadays, isn't it?
First sequel that made so much money.
All
That's the
the
first
money.
one, yeah.
Well, they announced this 3 days before the first one opened. So,
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so Deadpool 2 is now here. Ryan Reynolds now seemingly has complete control of it.
That's not a bad thing.
Not necessarily a bad thing. Director Tim Miller, who made his directorial debut with the first one, I believe, who came from a special effects background, has departed. He's gone off to, for some reason, waste his time with the Terminator franchise. And
like 5 other things as well.
Yeah, 5 other things. But thereafter, he's wasted his time with the Terminator
Is he
series.
going to do the Sonic film?
I think he is. Yeah. In the meanwhile, we have a new director who made his debut with John Wick, having started out as a stunt coordinator.
Yeah. John Wick, kind of similar to Deadpool, just not with a big red...
Kind of, yeah.
Body condom.
Body condom, that's what he calls it, isn't it? Yeah. Right, so Deadpool 2 is here. Is he set? What is it? Seemingly about 5 minutes after the first one, isn't it?
Seemingly, yeah.
And what we greeted with, really, is we have the same sort of setup as the first movie, where we start in media res. We start at sort of the beginning of the second act, I think, effectively. Or did we? In the first one, we started at the end of the second act, didn't we?
We do, yes.
And this time
it's maybe not as far along.
Not as far along, but we start at the beginning of the second act with Deadpool doing something that we can't explain necessarily straight off the bat. We have to go back in time 6 weeks to basically 5 minutes after the end of the first movie and sit through a montage of Deadpool doing what Deadpool does, which is effectively kicking ass and taking names, except the names are already given to him in advance, and that's how he knows whose ass to kick.
Yeah, it's way more convenient. It's more efficient.
It is. It's a better use of your time to get the names first. It turns out that he's basically become the ultimate mercenary, dishing out justice for the little guy, and in the meanwhile, let's just say a voyager from the distant future returns to our time in order to snuff out a potential threat to the future, which in this case takes the form of a teenage boy. Ricky Baker, a.k.a. Julian Dennison from Hunt. Is he only from Hunt for the Wilder People?
That's certainly his biggest thing, isn't
Paper Planes, that's what I knew.
Yes, you really enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yes, Paper Planes with Sam Worthington.
I need to watch that.
I feel dirty for saying I enjoyed that Sam Worthington film.
You enjoyed The Titan as well.
I did enjoy The Titan. And
how do you feel about Man on Ledge?
I love Man on Ledge.
I think someone's a Sam Worthington fan.
Oh, good God, I need a shower. Anyway, so in order to protect the young boy from this voyager from the future, Cable, played by Josh Brolin, who you may have seen on a poster or two, Deadpool forms his own team, as this clip will very quickly tell you.
Kids give us a chance to be better than we used to be. He needs you.
You're a lot smarter than I look. I ain't letting Cable kill this kid. But I can't do this alone. We're gonna form a super duper group. That's what we're gonna do.
Our group will be forward thinking, gender neutral. We will be known as X-Force.
Isn't that a little derivative?
You're absolutely right.
And I loved that. I think that there's a gag there, like because it's expanded in the film, isn't it? It's like we can be gender neutral. X-Men? Really? Men? And you're like, yeah, actually, that is a good point, and I'm glad the film made it, because that has never occurred to me in the 50 years that the X-Men have existed, or in the 35 years that I've been alive. But, yeah, so... decent supporting cast. I mean, Josh Brolin's very decent. Josh Brolin's a lot of fun. Julian Dennison is great. What's not to love?
He is Ricky Baker.
He is Ricky Baker.
I like that he's not got an American accent. He's just from New Zealand.
He is still, and I think that's a really specific and very clever choice. Like, you know what? We're not going to explain it. Just is. We live in this world now. It's multicultural. Deal with it.
Zazie Beetz is great.
Is it Zazie or Zazie? Is it Zazie?
I've heard Zazie.
Is it Zazie? I didn't know until last week. Apparently, Gillian Jacobs is actually called Gillian Jacobs.
Really?
According to RuPaul's Drag Race, on which she guest starred.
And that is the authority on name pronunciation.
Exactly. If you've chosen the name RuPaul, you get to tell me how to pronounce things.
Anyway, his full name is RuPaul Charles.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so also in there, Karen Sony from the first movie, from Blunt Talk, from Ghostbusters, who plays Dopinder, Deadpool's loyal cab driver.
A full character now.
He's a full character, even though he only seems to have the character arc of the cab driver from Rush Hour 3. But
yes,
he has the exact character arc,
but just with a little bit more screen time,
a little bit more depth, and we never get to hear what happened to his great love. So,
no,
which is a shame. However, I think Zazie Beetz, whichever one we go with, let's call the whole thing off. I think Z Beetz.
Yeah,
Z Beetz.
Beats by Z.
Beats by Z. Thank you.
Beats by Z.
Beats by Z.
Beats by Z.
Anyway, she owns the film. She's the best thing in it. She's spectacular.
She's
the
amazing.
Very frenetic way in which David Leitch knows how to choreograph action stuff, he basically applies to an entire film here. Even the dialogue-driven character comedy beats, he puts a lot of that verve, that John Wicky drive into it, and it works, and Zazie Beetz comes off brilliantly as a result of it.
She is amazing, but she is not Peter.
She is not Peter, and that's what I was coming to. A very small role for Rob Delaney that, you know what, they say there's no such thing as a small part, and Rob Delaney has proven that here. As Peter, he has the best role in the film. He has probably about 3 minutes of screen time if you tote it all up.
Yeah, but I would just watch about 3 minutes just over and over.
I want entire short films made about Peter. The life of Peter. Have you seen their official social network accounts for Peter?
Yeah. People have made fan posters for Peter.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just finally explained why he grew that ridiculous mustache last year. Anyway.
True, yeah. Because he had a big, glorious beard.
He did. I did wonder. I really did wonder. Anyway, Ryan Reynolds, as fun as he's ever going to be. If I have issues with this film, and I do, I think it is in the writing. I think it's in what I would describe as a John Wick 2 / Austin Powers 2 effect. It is a case of when you've got a film that comes out of nowhere and surprises you and manages to be as fun as John Wick, as fun as the first Austin Powers, as fun as Deadpool. It's the sequel is never going to measure up to that. And it's never not going to be the sequel isn't bad. And in all three cases that I've just named, which includes Deadpool, the sequel is not bad. The sequel is very good. The sequel just isn't quite as impressive as that first one is.
And I think the same could be said for like Guardians of the Galaxy, that second one, which I probably enjoy about as much as Deadpool 2, but it's the same kind of thing. You weren't expecting the first Guardians, and you weren't expecting to be so good, and to kind of capitalise on something. You're making a face.
I'm making a counterpoint face at you. Please continue. Please continue. My counterpoint will only come once you are complete.
Marge, can I play devil's advocate? I think I'm done. I want to hear the retort.
My retort is I think there is an issue with tone, and I think it's an issue with tone.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
it doesn't so much apply to Austin Powers in the sequel equation, but applies to John Wick, for instance. And that's in trying to do the tried and tested sequel thing, which is simply take the things that people like and make them bigger. What you wind up with is a little bit of an imbalance. And whereas Deadpool 1 was a very simplistic film, very very simplistic story, and it was all about that character-driven comedy. What Deadpool 2 shoehorns in is quite simply an excess of plot. And because for the very first time with this character, I mean, we've only had 2 times, but for the first time with this character, we have to deal with the idea of there being an actual plot. It feels a little off-kilter, and I don't think the character and the tone of that character quite recover from it. And, I mean, I came away from this, and I think we had this conversation earlier, thinking, was anybody out there really looking for an emotional arc for Deadpool ever?
I think people would have complained if they hadn't done that. But I think people would have thought Yeah, but I think people would have thought that, we're just doing the exact same thing. So I respect them for doing that.
It's like a Spider-Man movie in which he's never in the mask. You know, it's kind of like that.
There is quite a lot of somewhere he's not in the suit.
Yes, there is. There really is. And you think, the movie's not called Wade Wilson, it's called Deadpool. Give me Deadpool. And, I mean, I had this out with a couple of critics. I'm not going to name names. I had this out with a friend of mine. I'm very fond of her. Yesterday, in which she said to me, I'm sorry, I don't think I don't get Deadpool, I don't think it's very funny. I said, well, I've been a fan of Deadpool for about 15 years, I'd say, since the Cable and Deadpool series, about 2004, which is a fantastic comic if you ever get a chance to read it. It's basically the sort of third act of this movie on a regular basis, like an episodic TV series. I went, and the whole point of Deadpool, actually, weirdly, in the movies, is they're not quite nasty enough. I mean, if you want it to be authentic to the comics, then you're looking at a hard 18, and you're looking at a character that will put a bullet in the middle of someone's head, then sever that head, take it home, and do things to it whilst making jokes that you never want to see on a cinema screen. And,
well, some people do.
Well, I would want to see it, because then I'd want to see an actual Deadpool movie. But, yeah, you wouldn't want to be sat next to me in the cinema when that's on, because I'd be laughing my ass off. But yeah, I think this is as close as we're ever going to get. I think it's pretty brilliant for what it is. I don't think it measures up to the first movie. I think if you're a diehard fan, your beloved housemate and best friend is.
True.
To an extent that I can completely sympathise on an Iron Man level. And I think the diehard fans are going to love it because it's Deadpool. But I think even they will be hard-pressed to say that this is a genuinely better film than the first movie. The first movie had that mean indie sensibility to it.
So if you're a fan of John McClane and Die Hard, you'll...
Yeah.
I've been waiting to make that joke for a long time.
Sorry. Did I say Die Hard or Deadpool?
No, you said Die Hard fans.
Oh, thank you. There we are. Sorry, I was worried that I'd said Die Hard instead of Deadpool.
No, I just wanted to give you a really terrible joke to throw you off.
Oh, it did absolutely, because you made me doubt myself.
Get it.
I feel bad now, and I should be ashamed. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
That will probably be my superpower, casting doubt into others.
Can we talk, by the way, about some of the brilliant sort of side heroes in this movie? And I am thinking of like hashtag The Vanisher, who, brilliantly, by the way, is one of the only characters who doesn't have his own emoji on Twitter.
True.
Yeah. And you think,
it's kind of amazing.
That's kind of the point, isn't it? Yeah. A friend of mine went, there's no emoji for The Vanisher. I'm like, yeah, there is. It's right there. Why can't you see it? But there you go.
Yeah. Wait until you know who The Vanisher is.
Because we do get to see. It's, you know what, if you're a fan of the first movie, it's not going to live up to the dizzying heights of the first movie, but it's going to get you about 80% of the way there.
It's John Wick 2.
It's John Wick 2. That's it. Do you know what? That's where we go. Deadpool 2 is John Wick 2. Coincidentally, from the director of John Wick and John Wick 2.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
Welcome back to the show, Mr. Allen. So, top 5, you want to get on that?
Do you remember the time we used to do the top 10?
Yeah, but it took like forever.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Top 5.
Number 5.
Breaking In. So this is the Gabrielle Union one.
Yeah, Gabrielle Union one.
Have you seen this?
No, I have not seen this.
Gabrielle Union, sister of Ray J?
Is she? I don't know.
Am I getting that completely wrong?
I have no idea. All I know is that her Bad Boys spin-off series didn't get picked up, so...
Oh, yeah, that was going to be...
Yeah, it was going to be her and Jessica Alba. It's going to be like Bad Girls. They didn't give it a title. Oh, it's LA's Finest. That was it. They were going to call it LA's Finest.
Surely you just call it Bad Girls.
You would call it Bad Girls, wouldn't you?
Or did they get sued by ITV?
Well, no, because in terms of TV, you can name a series the same as another series all the time.
I'm going to have a TV show and call it The Bill. That's what I'm going to
Why not? They released
ITV.
They released a film called Bill. Why not?
yeah, but it's not The Bill.
hey, that movie is The Bill. All right?
It's the Bill of my heart.
I will defend horrible histories until the day I die.
Bill is great, actually.
Bill's great. Did you watch it? It was on Christmas, wasn't it?
It's amazing,
yeah.
Don't watch Breaking In.
Yeah, don't watch Breaking In.
Just
go
onto the iPlayer, where Bill will perennially exist forever. Yeah.
It's a great movie. So, I haven't seen Breaking In. It looks like the kind of 90s home invasion thrill that I kind of enjoy. Generally speaking, I don't see why not. It's a smart home, isn't it? It's like...
Yeah.
It's a 90s suburban thriller with a smart home. I mean, I'm sold. And also, I quite like Gabrielle Union.
As do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she in... I want to say 10 Things I Hate About You. Was she in...
Oh, possibly.
I think she came out with my favourite line of dialogue in that film.
Which is?
Which I use in a lot of reviews to this day, which is, I know you can be overwhelmed and you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And you've heard me use that 1,000 times. Has anyone on Twitter, however, seen this movie? Because maybe they can step in for us, maybe they can give us their expert opinions, having experienced it firsthand.
Yes. So, this is a great name.
Okay, what we got?
Cash Daddy.
Cash Daddy.
Cash Daddy says, so I watched #Breaking In last night, and I have to say I'm shocked at how poorly written and rushed that movie was. ...
Cash Daddy has spoken.
Number 4.
Life of a Party.
Which I enjoyed very much, actually. I had a good time with it.
I seem to enjoy with Melissa McCarthy, Ben Falcone.
Ben Falcone, yeah. Falcone?
Falcone, because I don't think he's part of the New Jersey mob. So,
Falcone is a Batman villain, isn't he?
Exactly, yeah.
Tom Wilkinson, isn't it?
Carmine.
Yes. Carmine Falcone is Tom Wilkinson.
Let's sack this off. Let's go watch Batman Begins.
Yeah, sack this off. But have you not seen this one? Did you watch it?
I've not had the pleasure. I'm maybe going to see it next week, because I quite like those films they do.
I don't think I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, it pretty much is what you think it is. It's the exact comedy and it's the exact sort of 6.5 to 7 out of 10 comedy that you think it is. I mean,
I've heard that Gillian Jacobs is in it.
Gillian Jacobs is in it. Also. There's an appearance by what's the name? What's the mum from Modern Family's name? Julie Bowen.
Julie
Bowen's in there and is the recipient of a scene with Melissa McCarthy and Maya Rudolph that absolutely owns this movie. It is such a great scene, such a brilliant sort of late second act scene that when the third act then kind of disappoints, you don't care because that scene was so good. That's it. I mean, the biggest issue with it is it has very little to say. It purports, like, it puts its foot forward as if it does, but then really doesn't deliver on anything. There's no overarching point to it. It is just, mum goes to college, the end. You know, that's it. What more do you need? It's Melissa McCarthy. She can make that work. Has someone tweeted about it?
At Tor Hart says, just saw #Life of a Party with my dad, and in the scene where My Rudolph screams out of the window at ex-Tina, I'm assuming Christina Aguilera.
Oh, yes, Christina Aguilera is in there. She's like the Mike Tyson of this movie. To go the hangout.
Spoiler for everyone, but can you even spoil a film like this?
No, actually, Christina Aguilera, they pretty much advertise up front on the opening credits that Christina Aguilera is part of it. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
And I think they even go so far as to say Christina Aguilera as herself. So, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Take that, Britney Spears.
I know, ain't Britney in no SNL spin-off movies.
Anyway, back to the tweet.
Okay, cool.
Where Maya Rudolph screams out window at ex-Tina. My dad started laughing so hard he was crying in the theatre. I have never seen my father cry in the theatre before. Well, I have, and that was the last time I ever saw my dad.
Wow.
Number 3.
I Feel Pretty.
I'm glad you do. I feel pretty and gay. So, I Feel Pretty is the latest Amy Schumer. It's like the third one of these Amy Schumer sort of headlining movies.
Trainwrecked.
Snatched, and then this. I've
seen Trainwrecked. I enjoyed it, and I'll stop there.
Yeah, don't watch Snatched. I mean, aside from Ike Barinholtz's character, there's nothing to shout home about.
He needs like a proper starring vehicle.
He really does. Well, he's got his own film to do, so I'm sure he'll give himself a decent role in it. What's that called? The Contract, or... The Pledge or the Oath? It's the Oath, isn't it? The Oath. That's out. Was it Thanksgiving? I think.
I'll have a look.
Anyway, this one is it's shallow hell for women. The only thing is, shallow hell had a point, had something to say, had a meaning, had a message. This doesn't. If it does, it kind of gets lost amidst Amy Schumer's gurning, for lack of a better term, and I just couldn't get on board with this. I kept thinking, is it going somewhere? Is it going to mean something? And really, once you get past the inevitable, it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside thing that counts, you think, yeah, that's all well and good, except you're giving us a character who really isn't very likeable on the inside either. I
think that's the issue with it. I kind of applaud what it's trying to do, if it is that self-love kind of message, but I don't know if it's been put in the right package.
It's not been put in the right terms.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the film stages itself in such a way as to basically undermine its point straight off the bat. I mean, for instance, the film perpetuates this ongoing belief that Amy Schumer is the representation of the largest, most hideous woman in the world. To which you think, Okay, I don't know where you hang out, but I want to live there. And at the same time, though, there is another glaring hypocrisy in that one of her best friends is played by Adie Bryant,
Who is amazing.
Who's amazing, and actually, as it happens, way funnier than Amy Schumer.
Yes.
And more deserving of an ongoing Comedy Central series. But also physically larger than Amy Schumer. And you think, okay, that's a weird thing to overlook, but okay, I'm going with it. And you go with it, and you go with it, and
See,
you go with it.
I thought this when I found out that Ada Bryant was going to be in the film. And I was thinking I would be on board with it as long as in the third act there was a scene where Ada Bryant essentially calls her on this.
Yes, and the problem is the film never addresses that.
Well, that's an issue.
It never really addresses it. And it is an issue, and you come away from it all thinking, well, you know what, Michelle Williams was a lot of fun. And that makes up for it.
She's doing like the Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, she's doing the Tilda Swinton. Michelle Williams is good enough that I might give it a pass. Fine. But then again, I'm not personally affected by any of the issues in the film. I'd imagine if I were...
Yeah.
Well, we can't talk, can we? You know, I don't think either of us particularly have tremendous body confidence issues, and neither of us are women. So, yeah, we're kind of out of our depth on this one.
I think obviously guys can do that, but this is very much targeted. This is for women.
A very, very specifically targeted at women.
If it was a different thing where like there was a guy going for a similar, like if her love interest had body issues,
but that's a level of intelligence the film simply doesn't have.
Isn't it bad when we're like writing a better film?
Yeah, we are writing a better movie right now.
Yeah.
Look, Adie Bryant's calling her out. The boyfriend has issues. Yeah, you know what? Okay, has anyone on Twitter written a better film?
Yes, saying the exact opposite thing, but we have just said.
Okay, well, they said.
So at Haley _Harris says, thank you at Amy Schumer for hashtag I Feel Pretty. Such an inspiring film and so relatable for all of us women who constantly self-criticise and compare ourselves to others. Here's to more self-love, admiration and empowering others. One of those emojis where it's the two hands going up.
Preach.
Was that the preach? I thought it was either preach or yas.
Okay, but could be. I thought I've only ever seen it used as preach.
It could be whatever, Broad City stylized emoji is popular this week. Hand clapping and a heart emoji.
Okay, we see the point there. You see the idea that a young woman of a sort of relevant age will draw something entirely different from this film than we will.
And that's great.
Fine. That's great. I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm just saying I didn't particularly enjoy it. I don't particularly think it's a well put together one.
It's no Sherlock Gnomes.
It is no Sherlock Gnomes. Certainly no Snowpiercer.
Number 2.
Oh, wouldn't you know it? Sherlock Gnomes.
Right. Sherlock Gnomes is 2 films in one. So it is Sherlock...
It's part Zodiac.
It's part Zodiac, and it's part Copycat, the 1995 Holly Hunter Sigourney Weaver thriller, with Harry Connick Jr. as the killer. Like Ginger Harry Connick Jr. with the buck teeth.
Oh, yeah. That would be an amazing double bill.
Menacing, isn't he? Yeah.
What a deep pull that was. Well done.
Thank you. That was the first serial killer movie I could pull out of my ass in a second.
Yeah. I was trying to think of what was that Sally Field, Kiefer Sutherland one where he kills her daughter.
Is that Eye for an Eye?
Eye for an Eye.
Eye for an Eye with Ed Harris.
Yes. Of course, Ed Harris is the
also
dad.
1995.
What a great year for us.
Good year for serial killer movies. Also, the year 7 came out.
Yes, it was. But we can't talk about 7 anymore for reasons.
For reasons. Well, let's just imagine that Michael Stipe was cast as originally intended. Anyway. Yeah.
I forgot that was a thing.
That was a thing. Anyway, so Sherlock Gnomes, half of it is a Sherlock Holmes spin-off of Romeo and Juliet. The other half is a sequel to Romeo and Juliet. And the Sherlock Holmes movie, a.k.a. Sherlock Gnomes, is a better movie. It's actually an enjoyable movie. You got Johnny Depp basically hamming it up, and it's not really a challenge to play Sherlock Holmes anymore. Because, post Benedict Cumberbatch and even Robert Downey Jr., in the last few years, you can kind of phone in a Sherlock Holmes performance.
Will Ferrell is going to be Sherlock Holmes next.
Exactly.
I am looking forward to that. Right?
That's something kind of different, though, isn't it? That's something where you think, okay, you can actually do something kind of different.
Comedic, yeah.
Here, they're playing on a sort of without a clue kind of a model and giving more of the focus over to, like, Watson, who's played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, who basically steals the entire movie. There's no Jason Statham in this one, by the way. He seems to have bowed out with the first movie. I didn't like the first, well, what I saw of it anyway. I like the Sherlock Holmes element of this. I did laugh. I did think it was funny. I did think it had something to say. And at times, I think the worst thing I'd say about that element of it is that sometimes it reminded me of Flushed Away. Because of the animation style. It's London, a lot of it's in the sewers, a lot of modern technology, things like that. At one point they use a drone. They ride a drone.
It's 2018.
Exactly. I just thought the Romeo and Juliet stuff was terrible. And I say that... I can't tell you precisely why without ruining literally the final moment of the film. All I can tell you is Juliet's takeaway from this movie, her whole mantra, her culminatory message, as it were, is something that were I the father of a young daughter, I would be offended that she'd been brought into contact with. If I had a young daughter and she saw and ever repeated the mantra at the end of this film, I would have to put her into therapy and have it deprogrammed out of her. It's borderline offensive, and how in 2018 this made it into a film, I don't know.
Because Donald Trump.
It's about along those wavelengths. It really is. But it's right. The mantra of the film, without going into actual spoilers, kind of sums up to the idea that married women shouldn't have any priority other than pleasing their husbands. That is in a children's film in 2018. Okay? Seriously. You're about to be a father, you tell me.
Oh, I am.
Oh, yeah, you've forgotten.
Oh, that's happening.
So, has anyone tweeted?
Yeah, it says, at Case Plays Bass, you're going to be a dad. That's
It's nice when Twitter reminds you.
Oh, thanks. It's my monthly reminder that it's going to happen. What is this name? At RSBO?
RSBO? Okay.
Arsbo?
Okay,
Arsbo.
Okay, Arsbo. Okay.
Hashtag Sherlock Gnomes. Hardly entertains children, let alone adults. Ooh, sick burn.
Okay, yeah.
You or your kids will not find a worse family animation flick than this year to watch. Interesting choice words. Boring script and not at all that good voice acting. Music holds up though, 2 out of 10.
Well, the music's all Elton John.
Yeah,
it's all Elton John. I don't know why.
So clearly just a massive fan of Elton John.
Massive fan of Elton John. Not really a fan of this. I think he's wrong. I think half of it sucks and the other half's pretty good.
Well, I don't know if Arsbo is a male or female or unisex name. So we can't tell.
I just assumed by the ridiculous name male. Because I generally assume women have better taste in usernames, but...
Hashtag 2018, hashtag feminism.
Exactly. On to the next one.
Number 1.
The MCU episode 19.
It literally is, isn't it? This is 19,
This
isn't
is
it?
19.
So Avengers Infinity War, which I loved, I think you loved as well.
Well, yeah.
It's the biggest film ever, isn't it now? It's the biggest superhero film ever.
It's the biggest superhero.
It's something like
it's the highest domestic opening, which is like one of the big records that people always go for. I don't know if it's 5 or 6 all time yet. I don't know. I need to do research into that. I'll do research for later.
Fair enough. I loved it. I mean, end to end, I had such a great time with this. Yeah. I mean, and it is heartbreaking at times, and it's absolutely fun as all hell at others. And it's great to see certain characters finally cross paths, and it's great to see Benedict Cumberbatch back as Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man's still a joy to behold, because it turns out that you can have Spider-Man in a film, and it actually be fun, and not the most miserable thing you've ever seen. Or emo, and just shamelessly plugging Sony phones and Emma Stone's highlights. But other than that, and potential spin-offs that'll never come to be, but except when they do come to be. Anyway, but I had a lot of fun with it. I think the Russos knocked it out of the park. I think there's been some great marketing fun had with it. I think they pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes with it, and they've done a tremendous job. I think it's going to be a very hard act to follow, except they've already followed it. So we're kind of just waiting for it, really, now, aren't we?
We've just got an Ant-Man and Wasp and a Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
and it's kind of amazing that, like, between the next one, we're going to have 2 other films.
But they're set out of sequence anyway, so you think, okay, great.
Well, they both will be, but I bet like the ends of both of them will somewhat tie in.
I think there'll be like a post-credits or something.
There's got to be a post-credits.
I think Captain Marvel's going to have a post-credits that's...
which just turns up with some kind of time travel thing.
I think she'll get a message in her post-credits.
A certain message.
I think she will get a message in her post-credits. A page. She may receive a page, who knows?
Just some woman called Paige.
That's what it is. It's Rose McGowan. In the late 90s, that's what it is. Rose McGowan in the late 90s is just going to turn up and be like, "Hey, fancy the chat."
Rose McGowan in the late 90s being like, "Oh look at this amazing film career that I've got. I really hope that it doesn't get taken away."
Hang on. She didn't play Paige until 2001 because Charmed started in 1998. There you go.
We are falling down a rabbit hole here.
Really?
I was just going to say Paige from WWE. That's the only.
Oh, no.
That's the first Paige I think of.
She played Paige in Charmed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read a tweet and then we can move on?
Yes, please.
Please, get me out of this misery. At Real Mega Wolf.
That's a serious wolf.
That's a
serious wolf. That's a hardcore wolf.
Yeah, hardcore wolf. My mum just saw hashtag Infinity War, and Lord, she was not happy about that ending. Literally almost went into tears. But she did enjoy the movie.
I couldn't even get my mum to see it.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
Come with me if you want to live.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, 2 last reviews to see us through the week then.
All right.
Okay, let's talk about Jeune Femme, first of all.
Say it again, but say it
Sexy?
more French.
More French. Jeune Femme.
Oh.
Did you enjoy that?
I did. It was like Vincent Cassel was in the room.
Oh, Vinny Cassel. Right, okay, so do you remember a film about 6 months or so ago called Thelma?
Yes, I do.
No, not Thelma, Daphne. Daphne. We had 2 films.
Yes,
Daphne,
I do.
Daphne, I'm thinking of. Thelma was the sort of horror-ish one. Had the horror thing. This is a lot like Daphne. This is about a girl in her early 30s, played by Letitia Deutsch, and she plays Paula. She's a sort of aimless young woman. She's in her early 30s. She's just been dumped. She's sort of milling around, just trying to find something to do, really. She finds friends to hang out with and finds places to sort of squat for a few weeks. And she's basically generally aimless. And that's the movie. That really is it. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like Daphne if you removed the shop robbery element from it. But the whole thing in this case is the idea that she's doing this in the big city in Paris, and if I can do it here, I can do it anywhere, kind of thing. Great performance from Letitia Deutsch. Solid direction from Lenore Sorel. I really went for it. I thought it had some fun. I thought it had some charm. I thought it knew when to go dark. It knew when to go for that grim mumblecore, the all is lost moment kind of a thing. You know the all is lost moment from American Dad? The all is lost moment. It knows when to do that. It does it a lot. But I did really enjoy it. I thought it had insight into a character who wasn't conventionally likable. She is quite an unlikable character, but the way that she's played, the way that she's portrayed, they do give her depth that you can kind of step back and go, yeah, we all have that kind of friend. If you don't, it's you. But like I don't, it's me. That's how it works. And it's very much that kind of a character. And it makes the film wholeheartedly. I had a lot of fun with it. Great performance, as I say, from Tish Deutsch. Suleiman Seynaday. Nice. Also excellent in there as her only sort of, I would say, actual friend. He's sort of a colleague, security guard in the shop in which she works, and they have quite a charming friendship. It's quite heartwarming. But yeah, I really liked it. It's worth checking out. If you do get the chance to check it out, do. It was also surprisingly short. It was a nice tidy 97. Ooh. Apparently big at Cannes last year, but
Cannes, I think.
Cannes. I thought it was Cannies. Not Cannies.
No, that's the award show.
I've been saying Cannies for years.
That's the award show we have afterwards.
Oh, okay.
You have cans and then...
So you have cans and Cannies.
And then the Cannies.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, as long as I know. I'm sorry. I apologise.
My favourite fact about Cannes, do you know we have the big award which is called the Palme d'Or?
Yeah.
The year when The Artist was there,
they
gave a special award to The Artist called the Palm Dog, because there was a little dog in The Artist.
My favourite ever Cannes story is the reason Mark Kermode will never go back to Cannes.
What is this?
Apparently he lost his rag the first time he ever went, and it's in his book. And he still references it all the time because his wife went to Cannes this year. His partner went to Cannes, and he made quite a big song and dance about the fact that he wasn't going. And apparently he stood up in the middle of, I think it was The Idiots, and screamed out, "Il est mad!" and then left the room. And do you know what? Having seen The Idiots, yeah, I would.
Fair.
I would too. Yeah.
So it's like him, Lars von Trier, persona non grata.
Exactly. Yeah, except Lars is allowed back now for some reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, weird that one. And his new film seems to be very divisive.
I've not seen much. Well,
I've not seen the trailer.
It'd be weird if he released a film but wasn't divisive.
Well, apparently it's deranged.
It's one with Matt Dillon, isn't it? And
Yes, it is, because I was surprised by that.
The house that Jack built?
Yes, I think it is, yeah.
We should watch the trailer later. I've not seen the trailer
Yes,
yet.
we should. Speaking of trailers, how good is Bohemian Rhapsody? Like, that looks so great.
Very good. I saw that teaser and I was like, I don't know. And then I saw the main teaser.
Mm-hmm. I want to address a controversy about that with you in the podcast extras, by the way.
Okay.
There is a controversy about that trailer.
There's not a great deal of news, so let's just do some trailer talk. There's been some bloody amazing trailers like the last couple of days.
Okay, so final review then. I want to talk about Filmworker. This one, do you know you would have loved this? I think I'll see if I can find you. If the link is still around, I'll see if I can find it for you. This is the story of Leon Vitali, who was an actor in Barry Lyndon.
Oh, right.
So, Stanley Kubrick's iconic period piece, as it were. In fact, there's a picture of him right here. I'm pulling the IMDb page. That is Leon Vitali. Handsome man. After Barry Lyndon, over the course of filming Barry Lyndon, he formed a friendship with Stanley Kubrick to the extent that they became effectively partners. Kubrick would make the films. Vitali would become, as Matthew Modine tells us at one point, basically became his Igor. That's how Matthew Modine tells us. During the production of Full Metal Jacket, he basically thought of Leon Vitali as sort of his Igor figure.
Do you know what's weird? There was something of a resemblance between him and Tom Waits in Bram Stoker's Dracula, weirdly.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, just look at that.
Yeah, there really is.
And...
He has that exact look, doesn't he? I've got a clip. This will set up nicely for you.
I was doing theatre, television, prestige, costume dramas, BBC, one-off plays, cop dramas, sitcoms. I shocked you, didn't I? A phone call came through, and my agent told me, "You've got the role in Stanley Kubrick's picture." Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I almost passed out.
Leon was a spirit, the apprentice that all of a sudden one day became the master with all the answers.
Daddy, you gotta listen to Stanley.
Look scared, look back, left Danny, turn right.
Around now, hesitate.
He was my acting coach.
Come and play with us, Daddy.
It wasn't even in the script that they were twins. I was just looking for someone who was good. And he looked at it and just said, well, there's no question, is there?
This is a story I didn't know about, and it's a story that's continuing now. Because they've picked the perfect week to release this. Because obviously this week sees the 4K restoration of 2001 in cinemas on limited release. Is it this week? Last week, maybe? What you've got to say, this is put together by Tony Ziera. Over the course of 90 minutes, what we get is a look at the world of Stanley Kubrick from the person who was basically stood next to him the entire time. And he's not afraid to tell you exactly how difficult Kubrick was. It's kind of known how difficult Kubrick was. It's less known, for instance, that Vitali stepped in to more or less complete Eyes Wide Shut, that Vitali has been basically driving the legacy of Kubrick in all the years. It's been about 2 decades now, hasn't it?
So what, since he died?
Since, yes.
Almost.
He died during Eyes Wide Shut was 98, wasn't it? 98, 99.
Was it just after Eyes Wide Shut? Because he was in pre-production on AI.
I don't think he'd completed Eyes Wide Shut fully, though. I don't know. If I'm according to the film, he hadn't. Anyway,
I mean, I can just go on Wikipedia right now.
You can.
So, I will do that.
Talking heads on this one. You prepare to have your mind blown.
David Byrne.
So, first and foremost, Danny Lloyd. I've just knocked the iPad over. I apologise. So, Danny Lloyd.
Take that, Apple.
Yep, take that, Apple. There we are. So, actually, Danny Lloyd from The Shining played Danny. He's in there. Ryan O'Neill from Barry Lyndon, obviously. Matthew Modine, Full Metal Jacket. Stellan Skarsgård turns up.
No way.
Yeah.
Stellan Skateboard.
And in a moment that I wasn't prepared for, and it absolutely broke my heart, R. Lee Ermey turns up.
Oh, no.
Oh, I know. Because he died so recently as well.
Yeah, it was like a couple of weeks ago.
And yes, they play the iconic clip. Yes,
I need to watch that film again. I love that film.
I love Full Metal Jacket so much. Pernilla August, Lisa Leone, Chris Jenkins. Just there's such a great, and there's also a look at a side of the film business that you don't really get to see very often, which is the distribution end. The end that you and I have dealt with, dealing with press agents and things like that, and going to, for instance, Dean Street and things like that. And it looks into like Warner Brothers home end and things like that. And you look at the relationship between Kubrick and how he didn't respond well to early releases of his films, and he wasn't a big fan of this and that. And it's a really interesting story. If you've ever been fascinated by Kubrick, if you've been the film student who did the thing we all do, which is I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch The Shining, I'm going to pick it apart frame by frame, because we all tried to do it at uni, you're going to look at this and think, wow, this is the missing piece of the puzzle. And it really is. He's a compelling figure. He cuts a good yarn. He provides insight that you honestly never would have considered, and he gives you a view into the world of Kubrick that you never in a million years thought you would have. It's a genuinely fascinating story. The reason I say about he's continuing a legacy to this day, by the way, is he's responsible for these restorations. Because he's going down the route of, look, Stanley wouldn't have wanted this, he wants this. And I know the films better than anyone because I was there for every single frame. And it's a great story. You would absolutely love this. Cannot sell it to you higher and higher enough than that.
I will find it my nearest Curzon, I'm sure.
I think it is. Hang on, it was Filmworker. It's Dog Wolf, so probably Showroom.
Okay.
Probably Showroom in Sheffield. Maybe Curzon, but yeah. So Filmworker, absolutely loved it. Big fan. But yes, I don't know. I'm intrigued enough to give it Film of the Week, to be honest.
Oh, over Deadpool 2.
Over Deadpool 2. Because this is a piece of film history that you really never, ever, ever thought would exist.
And Deadpool 2 is just a piece of film.
And Deadpool is...
it's good.
It's a somewhat rushed sequel to a better original. You know, I'll go with that. With some laughs. And a unicorn. And not enough blind owl. Anyway.
I used to remember laughter when my dad was still around.
What is with you? Is this because you're expecting?
Yeah, it's making me wistful.
Making you wistful?
Yeah.
Are you wisting? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Are you full of whist?
I am full. If you squeeze me, I'll just...
Whist comes out.
Whist will come.
Whist pours out of your ears and
I will
nostrils.
secrete whist, whatever whist is.
Pours from every orifice.
What's next week? Let's move on.
Let's move on to something less whisty, shall we? Next week, we have Edie next week with Sheila Hancock.
What is Edie?
Sheila Hancock climbs a mountain.
Cool.
Okay. We've got Show Dogs.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
I'm going to let you know something.
Yeah.
That's what I've been embargoed on for the last month.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, I'm excited.
I've been embargoed on it for about a month. We've got the animated film The Breadwinner. That's next week as well.
Oh, finally.
The Little Vampire, which is animated film. We've got the documentary This Is Congo. We've got the documentary Zama. We've got the documentary The Rape of Reki Taylor. You'd hope that's a documentary because it'd be a terrible title for a rom-com. And Solo, a Star Wars story, is next week. So, yeah. I mean,
how are we feeling?
I'd have preferred Lando as Star Wars story, but...
If you stick around for podcast extras, we might have some news about that.
What? This is Coruscant. a shirtless Donald Glover. This is Coruscant.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
we need that.
You want that. How has he not done that as a funny or die
How many
video?
times have you listened to This Is America or at least watched that video?
About twice, actually.
Oh, really? Is that all?
Only about twice. I have a busy life, man. Really busy. I only got to watch the Defiant ones finally yesterday.
And I've still not watched that.
Oh my God, so good. Podcast extras. Anyway, we've got all those to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, this has been a Candy Store for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
And I have been Deadpool 2.
We'll be back.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
News. This is the news.
We have no news. Really?
Seriously, like there's
very little.
There's very, very little. I'll talk about something that you kind of alluded to when you didn't even mean to.
Yeah, you're going to tell me something about This Is America or Donald Glover?
This is a Lando movie.
Oh, are we getting a Lando movie?
Yes.
Excellent.
Kathleen Kennedy has said that Lando movie is next.
Oh, fantastic.
Which.
Okay.
I mean, of course it is.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Margot Kidder died this last week.
Yes,
she was 69
that's probably
years old.
one of the biggest pieces of news. Yeah, very sad.
That broke my heart.
My wife didn't know who she was.
Oh, no.
And when I said Lois Lane, and she was like, no, that's Terry Hatcher case. Because Cassie attests that the most famous Superman is Dean Cain.
No, the best Superman is Dean Cain, but I'm kidding. No, but the second best Superman is Dean Cain.
Yeah, he is TV Superman, and Terry Hatcher is TV's Lois Lane.
TV's Dean Cain.
He is TV's
Dean Cain.
Like you have TV's Kevin Sorbo. You don't have just Kevin Sorbo.
Exactly, yeah. This is not really in our wheelhouse, but I feel like we have to talk about it anyway. So, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, should we do? Let's do some news about TV.
That's
been big.
Well, there has been big.
Yeah,
but
what's the S.H.I.E.L.D. news?
I have to talk about S.H.I.E.L.D. because it does tie into the films.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, there's always been this love-hate relationship between Marvel TV and Marvel films.
I'm aware.
Now, it's a very one-sided hate. Marvel TV loves Marvel films. Marvel films does not love Marvel TV. No.
It's one way street.
So, recently, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had its 100th episode, and then its sort of final story arc, and that's sort of taken place about the last 8 episodes. It's recently been revealed that the storyline that's going on is happening simultaneously with the events of Infinity War. And that the arrival of Thanos is what's kicked off these events. So, an entire year's worth of Marvel television has actually been because of Thanos. So, this creates a bit of a problem, of course. Spoiler alert, given the end of Infinity War. So how do you deal with that? Because obviously this season can end, but regardless of the cliffhanger, season 6 would have to begin in a way that would have to reference the events of the next Avengers movie.
You send half of the cast on holiday.
That would work. Yeah. However, ABC and Marvel have come up with a new strategy.
Which is?
Delay it a year.
Yeah.
Take a year off, and we'll get a half a season in one go next summer. So next summer
That's a smart move, really.
Yeah, you said the thing. Because there's enough Marvel shows.
It's much tighter. Oh, yeah.
There are enough of them.
Too many, really.
We've got Cloak and Dagger starting this next week.
I've not watched Runaways.
I've not watched past the first episode of Runaways.
I've heard pretty good things. It's got season 2 as well coming.
Has it? Okay. Inhumans was...
That's been cancelled.
Was an abortion. What else is there? I mean, Netflix series are pretty much usually great.
Yeah, and the trailer for Luke Cage season 2.
Oh, can't wait.
So down.
I'll tell you what, we've got a trailer. What do we do? Just show someone kicking the Unbreakable dude's ass.
Yeah. That's all we need.
Yeah. And that's it. So we're going to get a delay for a year so that Marvel TV can show some respect to its abusive older brother. Yeah. I mean, how nice is that? Like, that love does not go both ways.
Did you see about all the TV shows that were cancelled and then one was revived because the internet basically said, no, you don't do that. No.
Well, for damn good reason. It was Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Nine-Nine!
Nice!
Toy.
Yeah, you don't mess with that show.
No, you do not.
It's fan base. I didn't realise how kind of rabid its fan base was.
Totally your sex tape. Anyway, such a good series.
Terry loves yogurt.
All on Netflix. Get it watched. Anyway,
yeah, it's been picked up by NBC.
Who made it anyway? Because it's Universal actually make the show. It was Fox that were airing it, so now it's going to be Universal who make it, and effectively Universal who broadcast it as well.
And they're fine with that.
Yeah, they're good.
I think because that news was so big, I then didn't know that Last Man on Earth had been cancelled.
And the Mick as well.
Mick, which only had one season, but had Sweet D from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No, it had 2 seasons.
Oh, did it? I thought it was just 1.
Oh. And I think
I didn't hear great things about it.
I really enjoyed it, actually.
Oh, did you?
Once you got into the sort of nihilism of it, it was pretty good. So we got to talk about trailers as well. Let's hang on. Sigma TV.
What else was TV?
Fascinating story. So Lethal Weapon.
How have we not spoken about this?
Oh my god, this was a doozy. So they made a Lethal Weapon TV show. And it was actually pretty good.
Not bad.
It's not bad, is it?
It's better than Rush Hour.
Much better than Rush Hour. But they had some problems, it seems. The actor they got to play Martin Riggs, a.k.a. TV's Mel Gibson, in this case, Clayne Crawford, turns out, bit of a git.
Turns out he was like Mel Gibson.
Yeah, it turns out he's a lot like, I mean,
when you cast someone to be Mel Gibson, it turns out you just cast Mel Gibson.
Yeah, you get your own personal Mel Gibson.
I love that song, Depeche Mode. Your own personal Gibson.
Well, they've got Sean William Scott to replace him.
Yes.
Not as the character, because apparently the last season ended with him being shot and put in a coma.
Oh, so Riggs is just going to be in a coma?
Riggs is just going to be in a damn coma. And this is because
Riggs is crazy. So
Riggs is crazy. But they've not confirmed this yet. There was a rumour that Sean William Scott is playing Riggs's brother.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, he's never been referenced in the series, and they actually had a specific episode that showed him as a young boy, as an only child, with a friend he saw as a brother, played by a different actor with a different name. Right. So
just have him as like a cousin, or just
Or just have him as a person. He doesn't need to be anyone. He could literally rock up as Sean William Scott.
I'd take that.
This acting thing didn't work out. I thought I'd kill people.
Have it be like an It's Always Sunny crossover. Have him be Country Mac.
Country Riggs.
Country Riggs, yeah.
Oh, he's City Riggs. I think we already had Country Riggs
Yes.
and City Riggs. Good God.
Do you know somebody called James Ranson?
James who?
James Ranson or James Ransone?
Don't know.
Apparently he's going to be playing the character of Eddie in It Chapter 2.
No, I don't know. Have you got a picture of him there?
Yeah, and I'll show you the picture in just a second.
Okay.
So this dude was in The Wire. Oh, of course, he's in The Wire. Yeah, I do recognise him now.
Go on.
He's in The Wire. He's in Sinister. Do you know? Well, can you remember what Eddie looks like? He's the one that's he absolutely hates germs.
Oh yeah. The hypochondriac one.
The hypochondriac one.
Yeah, the hypochondriac one. Yes, I do remember him.
That's the guy that's probably going to be playing him.
Oh my God! Yes, I know the guy, and that is good casting.
That is perfect casting.
That is really. He looks like if you tried to do a porn parody of Modern Family, you'd get him to play Phil Dunphy.
A little bit, yeah.
You really would. He would be Phil Dunphy in the porn parody. I'm trying to think of a pun.
I know you are.
Oh my God!
Bearing in mind, you're trying to make a porn parody of a film of a show where they're pretty much all related. So be very careful about what.
Not all related. I mean,
I guess if you just keep the couples,
Cameron and the Dunphy's daughters aren't related. So there's that.
Also, isn't Cameron gay though?
Semantics.
We'll work it out in post. Don't worry.
Semantics. Voiceover. We can fix all that. Voiceover.
Somebody get me Eric Stone Street on the phone.
Voiceover can fix anything in the edit. Hey, look at Blade Runner.
Exactly.
Anyway,
we're going to talk about some trailers.
Let's do some trailers
and then let's leave.
Okay, Bohemian Rhapsody. What a trailer! I'm blown away by this trailer.
I think I'm going to watch it again. But
I loved it.
Yeah, very good.
Right, there is an issue going on with Bohemian Rhapsody Online.
But it's not Sacha Baron Cohen.
Well, there is that. That's an issue going on inside my own head, because constantly inside my mind there is a little mini me bashing against the inside of my skull, screaming, "Why isn't it Sacha Baron Cohen?"
Yeah. I don't think that's why I'm going to enjoy it that much.
Yeah. Damn you, Brian May. Anyway, damn you, Roger Taylor. Because it's those two specifically.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And John Deacon, I don't really care because you've probably got nothing to do with this anymore.
Yeah, no one cares about anyone who isn't Roger Taylor or Brian May. So
John Deacon. He's fine. He's living off his royalties. I imagine he's got a farm.
Probably, yeah. That's what you do when you've been in like a successful British pop act. You go and you farm.
That is what you do. The guitarist from Faith No More, after he left Faith No More, is a pumpkin farmer.
That, believe it or not, is where the parody in Popstar comes from. The parody of that character.
Is it actually?
That is what it's meant to be. It is a riff on that.
That's amazing.
Because he became a weed farmer. Well, he became what looked like a sort of chicken farmer. Then it's revealed that he was a weed farmer. But the issue with Bohemian Rhapsody is when the trailer went online, it also went online with a new synopsis from Fox. And that synopsis refers to Freddie Mercury as battling a life-threatening illness. And
so we'll show a lot of...
So people have taken a little bit of an issue online with, oh my God, they're whitewashing that it was AIDS and that Freddie was gay. And he had gay sex with men. And you're like, okay, couple of points there.
I just don't think that's the thing that they would say just in the premise.
They wouldn't say on the premise. Yeah. But there is an issue there as well. All these people kicking off, Freddie Mercury, they want to whitewash that Freddie Mercury was gay. Which,
wait, hold the effing phone.
You've just seen it.
Freddie Mercury was gay?
He wasn't. That's the thing. Freddie Mercury was not gay at all. Freddie Mercury was bisexual.
Actually, yeah.
Yes. So, okay. Now... if you want to really get into the semantics of it, actually, Hollywood has more of an issue with bisexuals than it does with gay men and gay women. Because Hollywood refuses to believe that bisexuals are an actual thing. You only ever hear bisexuals referenced in comedies, generally. Hence the end of Dodgeball, if you remember quite famously. Yeah, yes. Remember that? Bisexual is just a catch-all
and
for
she turns
you
around
can have a three-way.
Yeah, she turns around and she's like, I'm bisexual, and then she gets with this one.
Oh, I'm bisexual. Let's have a threesome. Yeah. That's basically how it tends to work. Hollywood has a very, very difficult time with bisexuality has an easier time with homosexuality and heterosexuality, obviously, but a really difficult time with bisexuality. And that is why you should be annoyed with Bohemian Rhapsody. Not because they won't mention that he was gay, because he wasn't. There's a million documentaries on Freddie Mercury that you can watch that will fill in the gaps for you. But
I'm going to bite my tongue and not say anything after you just said fill in the gaps.
Okay, there we are. Tyler, your sex tape.
What are the trailers? Black Klansman.
That Klansman. Oh my God, such a good trailer.
I've just shown you that. It was amazing.
I mean, I'm so in. What's Denzel Washington's son's name?
John David Washington?
I think something like, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it John David? Might be David. I don't know. Something like that, isn't it?
Whatever you want.
He's got like the whitest two first names in the world, though, hasn't he? That's basically it.
It's like the Wesley Snipes thing. Wesley Snipes, you think of me.
What else? We watched Mile 22 as well.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it now because
Peterberg's Mission Impossible.
It is Peterberg's Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
We'll talk in a second. I'm excited because it's got your boy from Parade. Iko
Uwe. I've been saying Uwe.
Uwe.
I've been saying Uwe.
If you are Al Pacino, you would say
Uwe. It's an action movie that features Ronda Rousey and Lauren Cohen. So boom, take all my money right now.
Yeah.
But just you give me Ronda with an assault rifle, and you got me for 100 minutes.
And it's got that Mark Wahlberg thing of where like he says a question and then immediately answers his own question.
Yes, he does that a lot, doesn't he? Does he do that? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then also we watched the new Mission Impossible trailer,
which is so good.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued by this.
Christopher McQuarrie, he's all right.
He knows how to point a camera. Does old Chris?
Yeah, he knows how to write a script as well. I always saw him as being like the action equivalent of Aaron Sorkin for some reason. I think it's because at one point they look vaguely similar.
I don't know. Chris McQuarrie does have a legacy that kind of would suggest as much, wouldn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. I'm just looking through the news to see if there's anything. Apparently, there's been sequel talks for Willow. Giant, who cares?
Yeah. Mad Martigan, that's who cares.
Who?
Exactly. I just gave you one of the main character names. You didn't even know it was.
Have you seen how Michael Shannon was looking at Cannes, by the way?
Oh, I know, it's beautiful.
You tell me in his yellow Hawaiian shirt and blue tinted transparent framed glasses that he isn't the coolest man alive.
He was on Jimmy Fallon talking about playing a James Bond villain because there's loads of rumours because he looks like this currently that he's going to be the next Bond villain.
Oh, man,
should we end on some news about Jordan Peele?
Yes, let's. I'm always happy for anything with Jordan Peele.
Yeah, they have formally announced his new film.
Have they? Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah, with a poster.
Which is quite a nice, cryptic, very artsy teaser poster, isn't it? It's got something of like an Elmer Bernstein kind of a quality.
A little bit. It looks like I think it's meant to be like a Rorschach painting.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, because
two heads or two.
I think so.
Heads,
when he was making Get Out, he did reference the fact that he was very big on making an IR-11 movie. Like he wanted to make the kind of movie IR-11 would do. So this teaser poster, you think, yeah, that's in keeping with that. Totally, yeah. So what's the title again?
It's called Us.
That's it.
Which is it's a good title.
Ominous title. That could be about literally anything, or more specifically, two people.
Yes.
Or it could be be about black people. We don't know. It could be. Could go with that as a meaning. I don't know.
Yeah. It's got a pretty amazing cast. Elizabeth Moss is going to be in it.
Yes.
Lupita Nyong'o is going to be in it.
Lupita, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Lupita!
And Winston Duke.
Yes, M'Baku.
Bafa.
I love me some M'Baku.
Me too.
This is do you know, it's only when you step back that you realise we have the nerdiest goddamn conversations.
Oh, we do.
We really do. My God.
I've been talking about M'Baku a lot recently, though. He's great.
I feel like I don't talk about M'Baku enough in my life. But I'm a vegetarian, which is the most brilliantly salivating line in that movie. And also now on Home Ent, so check out Black Panther every chance you get. Yeah, that's really it. Oh, we never said with Deadpool, by the way. You and I agreed on this. Best end credits gags of a movie this side of Guardians 2.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely up there.
If not better, I think I'd prefer it.
You prefer Guardians 2?
I definitely prefer this post-credits to Guardians 2.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Because it fixes the timeline.
Yeah, there is that. There is that. Although it does kind of mean that Deadpool 3 has some explaining to do. But anyway, never mind. Neither here nor there.
I just want Peter. I want Peter back.
You just want Peter back. Well, we shall see. Right, I think we've yacked enough for 1 week. Although it's been nice to be back.
It has, yeah.
It's been nice. This is like our sort of group therapy session every week.
It has turned out to be.
It has.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, do you want to cue it out?
Here it is, your moment of Sir Nicolas Cage.
This hers? Tell me!
Yes, I think it's... Yeah.
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?
I don't know!
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?